Good afternoon to the viewers of the live stream. No intro today. I don't really know what else to say. I think we're ready. I think we're getting ready, guys. I think we're getting ready. Bull Parade, Farm Genie, Gumal, Griot, High or Low, Teutonic, Moonwolf, Final Prophecy. Welcome. Gentlemen, I think we're getting close. I do think we're getting close. I don't know if it's time yet, though. There may still be one more push, but there doesn't have to be. We basically came to the short-term hold to realized price. I don't know if that's the top. I still think there's a chance we get another push, but I'm not going to cling on to it. We got the relief rally. We clung on to the relief rally all of July, and we got it. We might be repeating this where we get rejected and then we come up for the peak here. That would be the best case scenario where we just peak right through. Everybody says, holy shit. And then that's it. Doesn't have to happen though. Maybe it's already topped out. But it's almost time. It's almost time, guys. I've never been more prepared. I think I'm more prepared now than this. I just think this was I felt safer here because of the Moonboy event. You know, it's tough being bearish into a bullish Moonboy event because it's never happened before. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go, boys. If this works, I'm gonna be a gambler full time. I'm gonna go to the casino. I'm gonna stream Baccarat, Card to the Player. Gene Matthews says, I think we're going into a bull market. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. What I think. Not financial advice. Yeah, I saw Doge this morning. It got obliterated. I guess no relief rally. Oh, they delisted Maneki. Yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting ready. This is exactly what we asked for. We asked the market, we said, could you give us signs that we're bearish before we turn bearish? And ask and you shall receive. And that's exactly what we got. Doge looks almost identical to 2025, 2026. Almost a replica. So there's only two options in my opinion. Either the top is already in, or there's one more spike to 69,000, and that's the top. And that should happen in the next 10 days. They actually gave us exactly what we asked for. They gave us exactly what we asked for. It's very rare the market does that. This is going to be interesting because we have 8 days, and if the S&P 500 stays down here for another 8 days, we're going to get a confirmation of a sell signal, which has led to a crash the last 3 to 5 times. So and it already printed for the QQQ, I believe. Yeah, it's set in stone. You can never get rid of it. July of 2024, April of 2024, January 2025. We know Bitcoin went down in all 4 of those time frames. November of 2025. But I think this is it. And I don't know if it was true, but I was on my phone and it said the VIX spiked. Oh my God, it did spike. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Come on, baby. Dude, the VIX made a higher high and we didn't even go anywhere. Let's go. Yeah, I'm so bearish, man, but I'm nervous. I'm not nervous anymore. We got what we wanted. Now the question is, are we going to be greedy or are we going to take what we get? That's the question. But the VIX is pushing higher even though the price isn't moving. If you just mark when this has occurred, you can just see the VIX has spiked every time. The last time it didn't was 2023, 2024. And that was the most bullish time of the market cycle. But we had a big crash in 2024. We had a big crash in 2025. We had the top in 2026. Well, I guess 2025. Then we had the big crash in 2026. So VIX also just turned green down here. We should check the weekly and see if we got anything. Okay, it is green on the weekly. What about the 8-day? Yeah, it just turned green on the 8-day. September 2025, January 2026, December 2024, and January 2024. 5 rather. Yeah, this is it, boys. I think this is it. I think we get one more rally, maybe. I'm not going to tell you it has to happen, but I think we're getting ready. It looks like we're getting ready. I think this is beautiful. They gave us exactly what we asked for. I think it's too early to say we're going to crash right now, but if we do, we do. We didn't hit oversold. Sorry. We didn't hit overbought, but we did for Ethereum. We got some red dots coming in. I still think we could get another push, but I'm not going to tell you it has to happen. We have fulfilled our duty. We said relief rally, we fulfilled our duty. I can't tell you that the rally's going to continue. I don't know. It should, but it doesn't have to. We just missed a positive MVRV. The same thing happened in January, where we almost had a positive MVRV. See? Right here. It almost hit positive and then we collapsed. That's exactly what just happened. We almost hit positive. So I don't know if it has to hit positive. It should. It's just one more push. But the fact that we got stuck here, it makes me think the next push should be the break. And then we start the timer for the top. I'm not 100% convinced it's time to go down yet, but we're getting very close to it. So if it ends up being now, so be it. We don't have that much time left. We're so close. We go down into August, then we bounce, and then we go from 60K down to 40,000 all of September. I think that's what we're shooting for, because I didn't realize this, but I don't know if this website is accurate. But it says September and October, sorry. It says August and September are the only red months. And I do think October could be green, because if we put the bottom in October and then we get a big bounce at the end of the month, that would make the month green. And we discussed yesterday that in every bear market you have 8 or 9 red months. We only have 4. In 2022, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 2018, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In 2014, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We only had 4, which means August and September is 6. October would be 7. Now, November could technically be red if October's green. That's why if October ends up being green, because we put the bottom in October and then we bounce, then November and December could be red. It's something to take into consideration. You know what I thought of today when I was in the gym? I was in the gymnasium. Let me ask you a simple question. I asked myself this. If you ask yourself this question, it really makes sense, okay? You know how people are saying to DCA here? I'm being genuine right now. This was my eureka moment this morning. Do you know how people are saying to DCA here? My question is, why are you DCAing here? For the people that are DCAing here, why are you DCAing here? Eight likes on the live stream. It's alright, I'm not popular. Cryptomalisis is in the chat. Welcome. Nobody's answering me? Okay. So nobody's answering me because they don't know the answer. The reason why you're DCAing here is because YouTube is telling you that DCAing here is not a bad option because Bitcoin is going to go back up. Why is Bitcoin going to go back up? That's my follow-up question. You're DCAing here because you don't want to miss the bottom, and at some point it's going to go back up. The question is, why do you think it's going to go back up? Why does Bitcoin have to go back up? And when I asked myself that question, it made me realize the same reason you think it's going to go up is exactly why it's going to go down. Because it always goes up. That's what the answer is. You just don't want to say it. Deep in your heart, you know that if you DCA here, Bitcoin is going to go up. So it doesn't matter if you get in now or later. But if Bitcoin always goes up, I don't know if you noticed, but it always goes down too at the same time. So if you're assuming it's going to go up because it always does, then I'm going to assume that it's going to go down because it always does. And when I realized that epiphany, that was when I said, yeah, we're done. That's it. You can't tell me Bitcoin's going to go up because it always goes up, but when it's time to go down, it's different this time. That's not how balance works. You can't choose what is going to happen. Oh, well, every time we've ever had a bull run, Bitcoin gone up, but this time is different, so it's going to go up anyway, but it's not going to have the downside. So if you think Bitcoin is always going to go up, then I think it's going to go down. Why? Because it went down here, it went down here, and it went down here. Just like it topped here, and it topped here, and it topped here, and here, and here, and here. That's what I realized this morning. Nikki GT for 5 says, what if Fartcoin blew off, then took a crap? I appreciate the 5. Fartcoin. Yeah, Fartcoin is getting ready to break the bear flag. We might be getting ready to break down. We asked for this. We asked for this. We said, can Fartcoin do what Fartcoin always does? And Fartcoin is doing what Fartcoin is always does. We're forming a bear flag on Fartcoin. So I do have a little tiny wizard in my brain telling me we could still get another bounce. I do think we should pierce the short-term realized price. We don't have to. I think we should. I don't think enough people got scared that we're bullish. I think the bears are complacent and the bulls are just bullish. You need bears to turn bullish, and I don't think we got that yet. I think if we get over 68K, people will start saying, I told you the bottom is in. So I would say Fartcoin could get another bounce here, but if Fartcoin breaks 12 cents, we know that's it, right? Fartcoin breaking the prior high. Sorry, Fartcoin breaking the prior touch point after you made another higher high tells me that it's bearish. So Fartcoin taking out 12 tells me we're going down. So if Fartcoin could blow off and then took a crap, it could do that as long as it holds the uptrend. I appreciate the 5 from Mr. Nicky GT. Yeah, I saw Durango Hellcat today, man. That's probably the best bet because it's got all-wheel drive and it's got all that power. I only brought that up because this guy's name is Nicky GT. And Mr. Meowsis has a Mustang GT. That's why I thought of it. How similar is this cycle to 2018? They're all pretty much the same. They're not the same, but they're similar. I think 2018 is similar to now because of the stock market. In 2022, the S&P was going down, which is not the case here. DCA is better because you can end up with the same entry as trying to time the bottom. Right, Carrot Pilgrim. But you're assuming the price is going to go back up. That's my point. You're DCAing now because you're assuming it's going to go back up. Why? Because it always does that. So I'm going to assume it's going to go down first because it always does that. You can't have your cherry and eat your cherry too, as Mr. Mouses would say. If it always goes up, then it always goes down. My Dogecoin average is 10 cents. I feel like I have to DCA now. Yeah, but you're assuming Dogecoin is going to go back up. I don't know if Doge is going back up. I'm going to be honest. That's why I'm glad I was looking for 5 cents back in November. I don't think Doge is going back up if we take this level. I don't think Doge is going back up if we break down. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash is breaking down now. Yeah, this is it, baby. Come on, if we pull this off, it's going to be generational. If we pull this off, it's going to be generational. One more push, though, for Papa. One more push for Papa. Papa Bear. You missed the top. It's over. It's not impossible. Yeah, the MSTR cut out. Oh, shit. I had it moved over one. The MSTR cutout says it's almost time to go down. It seems like we're ahead of it though. Like it's definitely something to watch. Look, if you mark the top and mark the bottom and then pull it up, we're almost following it, not to the T, but it's close. Right? It's not perfect, but it's pretty freaking close. I mean, this was almost the same. So I think we're about to go down. I actually think we're about to go down in the next 2 weeks. I think the top forms in the next 2 weeks. If it didn't form already, maybe the top is already in. I don't know. But I still have hope there's one more push. But I think this next push is going to be the top. And I think Dogecoin is telling us that. That's why it's taking a shit. I think they're about to unload their Dogecoin. There's always that chance that it gets a relief rally. That would be your chance to get out. We would have to have the relief rally from right now. Because when Doge made that lower low in December, that was when Bitcoin shot up. So we have to shoot up right now, which is possible. But I'm not telling you guys to get in because the relief rally's coming. We already had it. We're at the end of it now. My only question is, are we going to break the realized price before we go down? I think we can. I think we can. I'm not giving up hope just yet. But if we look at our momentum, it can't stay bullish forever. The momentum cannot stay bullish forever, man. We're in the exact same spot. And the FOMC meeting is coming up. So there might be one more push. One more push. There doesn't have to be, but there might be. Alts already say the story. It's over. The top is in. Whoa, baby. They're selling Obama. They're selling Harry Potter. Red alert, red alert. They're selling Harry Potter, baby. Oh my god, it's gonna happen. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They're selling Harry Potter and on. Yeah, it's coming. I'm not giving up hope yet, but it's coming. Dude, this drop is gonna be nasty. This drop is gonna be nasty. Yeah, wow, look. All of these coins are back. Yeah, Telcoin just took a shit. Yeah, we're getting close, boys. Total 3 ES. I don't even know where I got that from. Oh, it's the same thing as total 3. Yeah, dude, look at this. We're done. XRP, ACH is shit. Avalanche is shit. I think this is it. I think it's coming. I think it's coming, man. What do you guys think? You think that's it, or there's one more push left? Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm fucking ready, man. We gotta just close our eyes. If SOXL comes below $50, I have to get in. All right, dude, that's 86%. 86% last time was almost at the bottom. 86% the time before that was almost at the bottom. 86% didn't even get that low. 86%, yeah, didn't even get that low. Yeah, if we hit $50, I think I'm getting in. Yeah, that's gotta be. I don't know if it's gonna get down there, but it should. The reason why I say it should is because every time Bitcoin capitulates down to the negative nupal, this thing gets cut in half or more, actually. Or if we go down to the bottom, rather, not get cut in half. When we went down to the bottom here, this fell by 71%. When we went down to the bottom here, this fell by 60%. So we got to measure from wherever the peak is. If the peak is already in, then 60% would be 64, 70% would be 50. Unless it makes another push. We don't know if the top is in yet. The bears are coming back in the chat, so I'm not 1,000% convinced the top is in. It could be though. I'm not gonna disrespect the possibility. How's Litecoin? Yeah, some of the coins are not doing too bad. Oh look, we got a blue arrow for Litecoin. That's very rare. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're getting close. Where's the FOMC in 10 days, right? And like 7 days, 6 days? Are you guys ready? I think we're prepared. I think we're prepared. I already have my chart. I already have my shit set up. Right? We're looking for SPY to come down to like 570. We're we're looking for the VIX to spike. Right? We said the VIX got to come between 30 and 40. If the VIX is between 40 and 30, the S&P has to be close to the 200-day moving average. Sorry, the 200-week moving average. And that's time to get in for me, not you, not financial advice. What's the word with Dogecoin? 5 cents, in my opinion. The fact that this thing is bullish. Yeah, we got a green bar, gentlemen. Start your engines. No, I'm not even bullshitting you. Start your engines. We got a green MACD print. Last one was January, right before we went down. And the one before that was September, right before we went down. Right? If you look at Bitcoin, whenever the VIX prints this signal, it doesn't end well. This one was bullish, 2024. I think we're ready. I think we're ready. I don't think it's time to go down just yet. I think we got one more squeeze. One more squeeze to get the bears squealing. One more squeeze to get the bears squealing. I think that should do it. Yeah, one more. There's one more push. I could feel it. I can feel it. There's one more push left. We got to hit this positive MVRV, I think. I think you did get it in 2018 in July. Oh, July was back here. Yeah, you got it in November too. So it makes me think we're gonna get it. We haven't been over in a while. I think we're gonna get it. SpaceX is going to 0. Rubbish. Wow, just like that. Yeah, we're still holding up though. I could still see us making another high. But that's it. Dude, the fact that we're pulling back again, like this is exactly what we asked for. I shit you not. I couldn't have asked for a better setup. I couldn't, man. I mean, technically, if they really wanted to spoon feed, they would make Tether go down. If the market really wanted to spoon feed you free money, not financial advice, they would send Tether down. Because in 2018, Tether went down before Bitcoin did. So if we just saw Tether nosedive, that would be like the ultimate spoon feed. But I don't think they're gonna do that. That would be too easy. They're gonna make it difficult. In 2019 or in 2022, Bitcoin went down first. After the bottom, Dogecoin could hit 35 cents. Yeah, but why bet on something that could happen? It might not happen. But this is the pattern we've been forming, man. We've been doing this triple top bullshit. And then we break the high. I don't know. I think we could still get one more squeeze. I think we could get one more squeeze. Yeah, look, the comparison that Ben Cohen uses says we should go down now. Actually, 2014 says we should just go down now to the bottom. Bottom's in October. I don't think we can keep following this though, because the bottom was in December in 2018, and the bottom was in November in 2022. And the bottom was in December. No, I think the bottom was in January in 2014. We should start going down in August. Yeah, look. Look at that shit. It was bearish. 2018 was bearish 10 days before 2022. And 2022 was bearish 2 days after 2014. So the top should be right here, the end of July. I think there's one more push left. That's what I'm thinking. I think we got one more push. Everyone says, holy shit, the bottom is in. And then we go down from August, September, and the bottom's in October. And if we look at this, this tells me the same thing. We need to come down here. And the fact that we're getting a bullish divergence on the momentum, but we're not getting that on this means that we're still bearish. You see the 2018 one? It just kept going down and down and down. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. This is bearish. This is exactly what we're looking at. You see how the price isn't going anywhere, but the ROI year over year is going down? That's exactly what's happening right now. And every market cycle ended in capitulation. So, where it's coming. It's coming, baby. I think we get one more push to get everyone excited. I think the fear and greed is almost positive on CoinMarketCap. Yeah, almost yellow. Look, we got rejected right at the peak here. Oh, it did turn yellow. See how the fear almost turned yellow? It was yellow in January and it was green in April. I think there's one more push left. But the fact that we had this small ass pullback and Doge just broke the low, that was like the icing on the cake. That was the market's gift, letting you know that it's bearish. Now, I actually think that if we are bullish from here, Doge should actually recover from here, like it did here. You see how you made a low and then you made a lower low? Ah, we could be right here too. I don't know. But there should actually be a recovery for Doge. Yeah, I don't know what else to look at. We had a lower high on Solana. Harry Potter just broke down. I don't know why, other than it's bearish. Harry Potter did the same thing in November, made a lower low, then it spiked. Did the same thing in April, made a lower low, and then it spiked. We just made a lower low. So if there's one more push left, that should be the top. If there is another push, we should be in here or here. There's one more rally left. And with this rally, this was when Bitcoin got over the MVRV. Sorry, the short-term hold to realized price. Same thing in 2025. It was on this attempt. Actually, Harry Potter topped before that. Yeah, I stand corrected. Bitcoin actually went up after Harry Potter went up. I mean, you can see, not really. Like, we had one more push here. But yeah, this is it, I think. I think I think we're getting close. I think there's one more push left. What do we got? We get any candle closes today? I don't think so. No, everything is Yeah, everything is tomorrow. Wow, we're about to get a 6-day MACD on the QQQ, man. Yeah, this has to be it. I mean, we looked at everything. We literally looked at everything. This is it. I look at these doo-doo coins and the doo-doo coins are still bleeding too. They just rugged this shit. What happened? They literally just rugged this shit today. Yeah, this is it, boys. AIT protocol. That doesn't even exist. I think we got one more spike and that should do it. Does anybody want to contribute anything? Yeah, Dot almost made another low. Does anybody have anything to contribute to the class? Gemini looks like shit. Yeah, it looks like we're in here. Doesn't it? Yeah, what about Gemini? Do we take a gamble on Gemini if it goes to like $3? Even if it's just 1,000 shares, you get 50 grand back. What if Elon is planning on using the satellite? You're following the news, man. You guys, SpaceX has a 2 trillion market cap, brother. That shit ain't going to 20 trillion. Sorry. It's got to go all the way to 0. And then maybe it could go up for a 50% retracement, but I'd rather just buy an ETF. This is it, guys. Can you let me borrow 8K? I don't have 8K. I'm sorry. Last time I let someone borrow money, I never got it back. Oh no. Nobody's ever getting money from me again. I heard an argument for the low being in is the law of diminishing returns. Yeah, we already went over that. We went from 84 to 80 to 77 to 50. I've looked at everything. I see no evidence for the bottom. 0. I think the diminishing returns is going to come into play. That's why we're going to go to like 40,000. But we went from 84 to 80 to 77. Sorry. We went from 84 to 83. Is that really what happened? This was 80. This was 84 and then 2018 was 84 again? Dude, we don't even know if we don't even have accurate information. We went from 93 to 83, which is a 10% decline. Then these two bear markets were almost the same size. Then we went to 77. So how do we know that this bear market isn't like 71? You got to be able to connect the trend lines, but I don't think I can draw on this. I think we're going down at least 68%. At least 68. Yeah, we're going to 40,000. I really think we're going down there. I can't see us being higher than 65%. It's not impossible. 65 is not impossible. But I know Bitcoin goes lower than people expect. I learned that the hard way. Kind of sick. We've been going up the whole month and the price hasn't moved. I know, exactly. We've already been sitting here for almost 60 days. It's fucking nuts, man. Look, June 3rd is 50 days ago. We're using up all this bullish power and the price isn't moving. Exactly. That's how you know it's bearish. And a 3-day is starting to get tired now. He's getting tired. I saw something on Instagram that said old whales get tired, so they just go to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, Mr. Meowisis, I think you tell Amanda to wait for the driveway. Tell her that I'm using an executive order to override the driveway until 2027, 2028. $8,000 is like 1/4 of a Bitcoin. You can literally buy 1/4 of a Bitcoin and then wait till next summer, and then you could get the driveway for free. Tell Amanda she has to wait for her driveway. I think we're ready to go here. I was looking at the doo-doo coins. They're all bearish. I was looking at Moo. Remember Moo? They relaunched it. Bearish. 0. Whenever you see this pattern, it's bearish. They relaunched Anita Max Win. Get fucked. Yeah, we're getting ready. No one cares. Getting ready. It's getting ready to nuke. We're getting ready. Wow, they got GameStop on Robinhood. Yeah, I guess Robinhood chain, if you're a gambler, would... I don't even understand how it works. So you can buy these coins on Robinhood or what? That would be nuts. Cash Cat. Oh, what happened to Bonk? Did Bonk recover? It's trying. This guy says I'm really tired. Dude, you got another 30 years in this shit. Stop crying. I used to hate when people told me that. Stop crying. Oh, I wanted to look at the stock market. Yeah. You know there's a Mag 7 ETF that didn't even go up? I think it's just a waiting game. Amanda says you only got to pick one and you said no to the Mustang, so she's getting her driveway. Tell her that the Mustang is probably worth $5,000 less. So I saved you money for the driveway. And now I'm getting you a free driveway. So ask her, do you want a free driveway or not? And if she doesn't want a free driveway, then you can buy the driveway. How dare she talk back to me? I saved her so much money. I would argue she can only think about a driveway because she didn't get her face ripped off by a Mustang. Not literally, but monetarily. I heard they're sneaking things into the crypto bill. That's all rubbish. I don't even pay attention to that. Yeah, here we go. We're going back up. We're getting ready. I think there's one more push left. Fake bears are getting bearish here. It's not bearish yet. I think we get one more push. Boom. Holy shit, we're going to the moon. And down. I would have definitely paid 1.4K to ship the Mustang. Yeah, but you're in Florida now. Can't you get a better car for cheaper? California is probably charging nut prices. Yeah, the fake bears are gonna get squeezed. Here we go. Oh, we're at 64K? Oh man, I thought we were at 6. Dude. Yeah, but we've been doing this same pattern every time. We made a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We make a higher low here. I think we got a shot. Because Fartcoin is holding up right on support, which means we should bounce here, right? Or did we already break the support? No, we're still holding. Yeah, we're still holding. Every time Fartcoin comes to support, we get a bounce. I think this is it, guys. If the top's already in, that would be tragic, but it wouldn't be fatal. It would just be It would be unfortunate. It wouldn't be tragic. We got exactly what we asked for. But the best case scenario is one more push up. Everybody says, holy shit. Then we just go down in August. We go down in August, back to the low. Get a bounce into August and then down. One final bounce in September, down to the bottom. Because even the 2018 drop, even though it was straight down, it still took 30 days to play out. Oh wow, this was actually 64 days. Yeah, what if we're right here? There's one more spike left. Do we have 64 days till October? No, not yet. 64 days is still September. Yeah, we got a little bit more time. I don't think it's time to go down yet. One more push. One more push left. I could smell it. I'll be in Florida after my cruise. We have my one-way ticket booked with the cats September 16th. That's exciting, man. Starting a new life. Dude, I'm happy for you, man. You got a good life going. Got a supporting partner. Good job. House in every state. Mustang. Driveway. Good for you, man. You're a nice guy. I hope Amanda doesn't do anything to hurt you, or I will find her. I will find her. There's the cat coin, just made a 10x. Yeah, but that's like gambling. Start a stock list. I'm just gonna play with the ETFs, man. I'm not getting fancy. Falling for the stock market scam is just like falling for the shitcoin scam. Just get the ETFs and call it a day. That's my motto. What do I think about Doge? 5 cents. Not financial advice. 5 cents. I think we get one more rally here. I think Doge should get a bounce. If it doesn't, then so be it. But this is it. This is it, boys. We prepared for this moment. Everything, every single thing we look at says bearish. Yeah, so I see the problem. The people that are saying the bottom is in are making the same mistake that I made at the top. So something like this, you would argue, look, it says the bottom is in. But the problem is this was not the top in 2021. This one was. The problem is this was not the top in 2024. Neither was this one. It was this one. And look at how low it already is. So people are looking at it from this one was the high, this one was the low. This one was the high, this one was the low. This is where it gets tricky. But this wasn't the bottom in June of 2022. So it's almost like we only sat through this so far. I think we're going to be right. I'm not saying I am right, but I think we're going to be right. Good luck to you all. Wish you all the best. We get this right, it's a generational opportunity. Generational opportunity, man. We get it wrong, it's a generational blunder. But I've reviewed everything. We should be going up right now if we were bullish. See, a bull market started in 2021, whatever year this is. We hit overbought, we just shot up bullish. 2018, you hit overbought, pulled back, and then we grinded higher and then shot up. So if you want to see a pullback first, fine. This is your projection. It's got to look exactly like this, which means if we're still down here in August, it's bearish. You know the problem with this? Yeah, let's just pretend we're here. How big was this drawdown? 15%? We can't even go down 15%. We'd have to be 10%. Yeah, but brother, if we go to 60K, you know the shit coins are gonna go to zero. I've rested my case. I have nothing left to show you all. I've given you my best over the last 2 months, and I'm very satisfied with what we accomplished. But I think this is where our paths end. I've looked at everything. Isn't the FOMC on Wednesday? Is it? Yeah, but we could be bullish into the FOMC. I think we could be bullish into the FOMC. Have I watched Cryptocurrency's last video? I think I've watched him before. I haven't watched his last video, no, but I think I've watched him before. He's bullish, right? As a moon boy? There's a lot of moon boys out there. Will be generational for stocks. Yeah, it's only generational if the stock market crashes too. It's only generational if the S&P 500 goes down. The reason why it's generational is because once the S&P 500 puts the bottom in, it never goes back there. I mean, you're looking for an emergency world recession just to get back to the low. You know, but listen, if I buy here and we're here, I'm taking profit this time. So if we really get this monster crash, like this is the bottom forever. And even if it comes back down, I'm fucking long gone. I'm long gone, you know? So if we get this, this is a generational opportunity because we know so much more than we did back here. He makes the case for why the bottom is in. Yeah, a lot of moon boys are saying the bottom is in. I don't follow him. I've heard of him because he's a moon boy. I think I watched a bunch of YouTubers over the last 2 weeks, but I've already looked at everything that says the bottom is in, and we've already disproven it. I'm not saying I'm right, but historically, the bottom is not in. So if it's different this time, then the bottom is in. If it's not different this time, then the bottom's not in. I simply refuse to believe that the very definition of capitulation is when the network is underwater. The network is not underwater and never has been yet. So if you think that's different this time, then that's fair. But every single time we've ever bet against history, we lost. So I'm taking my chances on history. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm not, then history repeats itself, which it does. History does repeat itself. People make the same mistakes over and over again. I'm not sure I have much else to share with you, gentlemen. I think we've gone over everything we could go over. I don't know what else to say. I think we went over everything over the last 3 months. Hardcore. We're getting everything we asked for. Doge making a new low. BNB's making nothing. MSTR made a lower high. Look, MSTR is all the way back down here again. Right? Wait, MSTR is back to where it was on July 8th. Where was Bitcoin on July 8th? Yeah, it's all the way down here. Yeah, I think we're getting what we asked for. Oh, Coinbase came back down too. Look at that. Yeah, I think we're getting everything we asked for. I think there's one more push left. I don't think the top is in yet. There's one more. The fact that the FOMC meeting is next week and the Moonboy chart is like the week after that, dude, we're lining up for the kill zone. We are literally in the kill zone right now. Like the fact that we're exactly where we need to be in order for it to be bearish. This is it, man. This is it. I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but everything we talked about is right now. If we go like this and then come back down, the trap is set. It's never coming back to this price. Not for another 6 to 8 months. 50% of holders are underwater, but only a very short amount of time. Yeah, we went over it yesterday. You have to watch yesterday's live stream. What you want to watch is the NUPL, the net unrealized profit and loss. All right, NUPL represents the overall profit and loss status of Bitcoin's market. And you can see that we never even hit fear. We're still in hope right now. So I'm not here to convince you that we're not going up. If you believe we're going up, you got to do what's best for you. But I've seen enough evidence to suggest that the low is not in yet. We've gone over everything. We've gone over everything. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. You know what's funny? I think the guy that made this website also thinks the bottom is in. That's what's so ironic. I think people are just bullish, man. People are just bullish. Long-term holder cost basis? Yeah, it's just a realized price. That's not a big deal. Yeah, every market cycle we go below. Yeah, the long-term holders have never been underwater. So if you think it's different this time, then the bottom is in. If it's not, I'm telling you, man, I think there's a decent amount of people that think the bottom is in. I don't think everybody thinks the bottom's in October. I think there's a decent amount of people that think the bottom is in. I think if you ask around, most people would probably say not because everybody watches Ben Cowan. If the biggest YouTuber says we're bearish, then the herd is going to think it's bearish. But there's a bunch of other YouTubers that are not as big as Ben Cowan that are attacking the herd. I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to go. I think the mission is a go. I think the mission is a go. Oh, here you go. Here's a bottom. Yeah, it's an EMA though. See, the thing is, the momentum, like moving averages and stuff, do say the bottom is in. And that's the same mistake that I made. Because I said once the moving average was crossed, we get a capitulation, and we didn't. Because the moving averages are behaving as if the top was somewhere else. That's why I don't like EMAs and moving averages anymore. It doesn't mean they're worthless, but they don't work the way that they used to. That's why I don't like them. But this is it. Here you go. Maybe the bottom is in. Best of luck to you all. I don't really have much else to say. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think we should just call it or what? I think we're prepared. What do you think? You think we call it here and just let it play out, or we do finish? Yeah, let's finish the month of July. Let's not cop out early. I think we got one more squeeze in the tank. And then we come down. I mean, there's always a possibility that this happens. It just sits here and then goes down. That's also possible too. Do I have an idea on an ETF that has Intel? SOXL. Come on, man. You haven't been following the stream? Christopher5 says Bitcoin total supply and loss has historically been correct too. It's flashing, bottom, and reversal, so one of these indicators are wrong. Yeah, we've gone over it like 5 times. Not today, but I went into detail about it yesterday as to why it's wrong. But you can see that these have only intersected for less than a month. And the only other time that ever happened was here, where the supply and profit and supply and loss intersected for 1 month. In 2018, it was 3 months, and in 2022, it was 3 or 4 months. In 2014, it was 3 months. You can see it was September, October, November, and then we went down again. And as far as the actual number being 49%, if you look at the distances from the high to the next high, they're getting closer together. And the people who bought when Bitcoin broke the all-time high, they're already in a loss. Which means the next bear market, we're going to hit this number in less than 140 days. So you have to remember this. Bitcoin moves. What's the word I'm looking for? Bitcoin likes to do the same thing over and over again. So if you're going to repeat a pattern and you're going to say 50% is going to be the top, sorry, 50% is going to be the bottom, then that means the next time we hit 50%, the bottom is in again. That's going to happen even faster next time. So the bear market is going to shrink by a month every single time. Because we're getting to 50% faster because the tops are getting closer together, which means if you bought the all-time high here in 2021, you didn't go underwater until the bear market bottom when we went down 80% because that's where the most people probably bought in. So if you buy in when you break the all-time high, it takes an 85% or 80% drawdown to go underwater. This time around, if you bought on the break of the all-time high, you went underwater in the first 3 months, 5 months, whatever it was. Which means next time you're going to go underwater in 3 months. So using this logic, that means the next bear market is going to be 3 months long. Assuming everything repeats itself. Now, if you're going to assume that it's not going to repeat, then you're saying it's different this time, which is fair. If you look at this on a linear scale and you just say every time it hits 50%, the bottom is in, technically I can't argue with that. But if you look at it at a deeper meaning, because the tops are getting closer together in distance and in price, this same logic is going to say the next bear market is going to be 100 days long because we're only going to go to 170. And then when we crash back to 130, everybody who bought in up here is going to be underwater. That's how I look at it. But if you only look at it at a linear scale, yes or no, technically, when we hit 45% or whatever this was, technically it is true. So if this is what you want to use, I've made my case. But technically, if you're looking at it yes or no, when we hit 50%, technically that has been the bottom, yes. I would present to you, oh, sorry, you can't even see this one, sorry. My bad. I would present to you that in each of these other times, Bitcoin was below the realized price and the long-term holders have capitulated. This time they have not. So by definition, technically, it is a bottom indicator because it hit 50%. If that's enough for you to get in, then I would say you have to trust your gut. You have to get in. You know? But that's what I think. The tops are getting closer together, and this was the first market cycle that was like shit. Because even this peak, from this bottom to the peak was like 100x. This bottom to the peak was like 30x or 20x. This bottom to the peak was only a 7x. So the next bear market, we're going to hit 50% in loss in the first 3 months of the bear market. Because Bitcoin goes down by 50% in the first 3 months of the bear market every time. Or first 5 months. Whatever the timeline is. Right? The first 5 months of the bear market, you had November, December, January, Bitcoin fell by 50%. We went from 69,000 to 30,000. In the 2018 bear market, Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 6,000. The reason why it took longer for the coins to go into profit, the reason why it took longer for the coins to go into loss is because most of the people bought in down here. If you bought here in the middle of if you bought at the halving, this is, I guess, a better way to word it. If you bought Bitcoin at the halving, this is the first time you're underwater within the first 4 months of the bear market. If you bought in the halving here, you never went underwater. If you bought in the halving here, you never went underwater. I don't know where the halving was back here. Our halving is already underwater. So in my opinion, this indicator is going to break and it's going to make another high up here somewhere. Now, if I'm wrong, then the bottom is in and we're going to the moon. But in every instance, every single time we had this exact moment, supply and loss, the network was underwater. The network is not underwater right now. It's a fact. The overall profit loss status of the Bitcoin market. The realized price is quite literally the average price of the chain itself. Like that's what people are paying for Bitcoin. Like if you take the calculations of everyone who owns Bitcoin, the average cost is 58,000. 53,000. So how could we be in capitulation if the network as a whole never capitulated? Does that make sense? You'd have to be saying it's different this time, which is what the bullish people are saying. If you think it's different this time, I don't have an argument against that because I have no evidence to support that it's not different. Well, I don't have any evidence to argue with it's different this time because it doesn't exist. But the very definition of capitulation in market terms is when the market as a whole is underwater. And that it's quite literally impossible for the market to be underwater if the realized price is 53,000. Does that make sense? So that's what I think of that indicator. Could I be wrong? Of course, but if I'm wrong, then history is different this time. And if that's true, so be it. But I can't show you stuff because history's never been wrong, you know? How do I spell realized price? Why is it not here? But I appreciate the 5 from Mr. Christopher. Yeah, see, they don't have a cost basis. I guess they want you to pay for it. But if you look at the short-term holder cost basis, we're already under it. Well, we're right at it, basically. So the short-term holder cost basis is basically people who held Bitcoin for less than, here we go. The average acquisition price of coins held by short-term holders less than 155 days. So everyone who bought Bitcoin less than 155 days ago, their average cost is 67,000. That's why every time we come up to that level, we go down again because they want to get out. That's because they're underwater. The long-term holders, they never went underwater. And that's why every time we go down there, it marks the bottom because they finally give up. When the long-term holders are underwater and the short-term holders are underwater, there's nobody left to sell because everybody who's going to sell already sold. We haven't hit that yet. And every single time the coins in loss have ever been triggered in history, we were also down here. So by your question, yes, one of these has to be wrong. Either the coins in loss is wrong or everything else is wrong. The Nupal, the MVRV score, everything else is wrong. So the one indicator that says the bottom is in, maybe it is. But the very definition of capitulation in crypto terms is when you give up. And the long-term holders they never even entered a loss yet. So why would they give up? So that would be my response. And the fact that it does look like 2018, where we're floating above the realized price before we go down, and 2014. And this is the kicker. When you look at 2014 and you see where we're sitting above the long-term hold the realized price, and you go back to that coins in loss, it's in the same spot. It's at 50%. And then we made another low after that. So if I had to guess, I actually think we're in here somewhere. Like we're getting ready to go down again. In 2018, you didn't hit that high of a price till you already went down. We were only at 43%. So that would be my response. The long-term holders now aren't just some plebs who buy and sell constantly. Those are in retirement accounts. They don't jump in and out for 20 years. Yes, but Chris, here's the problem with your answer, right? So you're saying long-term holders aren't some plebs who buy and sell, they're just going to hold. Is that you're saying they're just going to hold, correct? Please look at the coin glass chart. It's much clearer. No, it's the same exact chart. You can see it's 50% or whatever it is. Intel earnings are after hours. Yeah, but I don't think Intel has enough to move the market. Right. So Chris, you're saying that the long-term holders aren't going to sell because they're retirement accounts. That's my point. Newpol is unrealized profit and loss. You don't need to sell to have unrealized loss. So even if they hold, they still could go underwater. They just don't sell. The NUPL is net unrealized loss. We never came down here. In every market cycle, they go underwater. It doesn't mean that they sell, but they go underwater. And if somebody's not selling, that means they're not doing anything. That doesn't mean their position doesn't go down. Does that make sense? And then the argument is, oh, well, we didn't hit red, so we don't have to hit down here. That's not true because you can see you made a lower high from whatever market cycle this was to the next one. And then we made a lower high from this one to this one. But you still came down here. I definitely think it's not going to go as low as this. But the fact that we never even went underwater in the first place. This was negative 25%. This one was negative 36%. I don't think we're coming down here because then we would be like 30,000. That's too low. If we went 30% below the realized price for long-term holders, that would be like 36K. I think that's too low. But this is what we talked about yesterday. You have to watch yesterday's live stream and like skip to the end. Because I plugged it all into the AI thing and it told us like 42,000 should be the bottom. On the conservative end, 44 to 42,000. So who is left to sell in order for those coins to go underwater? The more people holding longer means less coins are left to sell and keeps the price up. Yeah, I don't have an answer. I could just tell you, just look at what happened in 2018. They said the same exact thing. If nobody's selling their coins, then who's left to sell? The problem is you got to look at it from this perspective. If everybody's holding, that's what creates capitulation because there's only one door. There's only one door to get out. So if everyone's buying and holding here, once the sellers return, everybody who is doing what you're talking about starts to get out because they have to get out now. Who is that in terms of like an actual entity? I don't know who. I guess the same people who were buying in up here. Right? Why did the ETF let the price come down here in the first place? That would be the answer to your question. If this is the bottom because the ETFs are buying in, then why did they let the price go below this when this is their average cost basis? The actual ETF itself, their cost basis is underwater. So you're saying they're going to buy in and stop the price from going lower, but they're already underwater. They wouldn't have let the price go below 80,000 in the first place. You can see BlackRock's ETF average is 81,000. So all ETFs combined is 63,000. But you can see that only 2 or 3 ETFs themselves are actually at 60,000 or 63,000. Or maybe you can't see it because it's a little small. But you can see that only ARC21, Valkyrie, Invesco, and Wisdom Tree have average costs below where we are right now. BlackRock, Strategy, and Fidelity are all underwater. So if your viewpoint is the ETFs are buying in, the institutions are buying in, they're already underwater. And what's interesting is the lowest ETF is the realized price at 54,000. For some reason, ARC shares their Bitcoin went to 0. I don't know why. I don't know if they sold or if this shit is just wrong. It's kind of hard to see because this. Here you go. Yeah, we're already below the. Well, technically it's 63,000. So if your argument is this is why the bottom is here, it's because that's where the ETF's average cost is, I understand, but I don't think this is correct because if you look, it says Strategy, BlackRock, Fidelity, and ARK Invest all hold most of the Bitcoin, and they're all underwater. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. They're all underwater already. Like, they're significantly underwater. I'm not sure that the average cost is... I don't think the average cost is 64. I think they're taking the 16,000. I think they're taking the 19,000 from Grayscale, and they're averaging out the numbers. I don't think this is correct. Because you got to look at it from a weighted perspective. If Strategy and BlackRock and Fidelity have all of the Bitcoin, yeah, it's saying ARK Invest is taking up 47% of the weight. You can see it. And they hold 0 Bitcoin. Yeah, this isn't even correct. The cost basis is much higher. So they're already underwater. I knew that shit was wrong. The composition of the holders has changed. So this time may be different because regular holders are... Yeah, but you're not understanding. If somebody's holding, they're not going to do anything. They don't have unlimited money either. They're not just going to keep buying. They wouldn't have let the price fall this low. But at the end of the day, you know, you made up your mind and I can't convince you otherwise, and I'm not trying to. So you just have to stick to your guns, man. That's all you can really do. The Moon Boys have made their decisions and the Perma Bears have made their decisions. But that's where we're at. We're at that moment where whoever's wrong gets sent into the shadow realm. But I don't have any... Every time I give you an answer, you have another answer, so I don't know what to say. But I do know that in 2018, that was the same argument. People are not going to let the price go down because people are getting in, and then it just collapsed. So if you think it's different this time, then I don't have an answer. Maybe it's different this time. But that's the thing. I don't have... If your argument is it's different this time, there's nothing I can show you to combat that, because everything that I show you has to do with history. Nah, it's different this time. You know? So that's where the problem lies. I can't prove something that's never happened before. I mean, I might not be understanding what you mean. Nah, it's fine. You don't have to apologize, man. You've sent me so many super chats and you're very supportive. I'm just trying to say that I can't prove to you something that's never happened before. I can only show you historical data. So if you're saying it's different this time because of the ETF, I can't show you evidence because there's never been an ETF before. But what I can show you is the market behavior, and saying there's an ETF this time, which means the price isn't going to go down. I'm pretty sure we're already below the average cost basis of the ETF, meaning that they're already underwater. So why would they let the price fall below their entry if they were going to hold the price up? Does that make sense? This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, we went over this before. So if you go to Glassnode, which is like the OG on-chain website, all of the big buyers, their average costs are all up here. So they're already underwater. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the same argument was made in January and November. We're not going to go lower because of the ETF. And you see how the price stopped right above the ETF cost basis? And then we fell below it. And then not only that, we came up to it and got rejected from it. Meaning that even the ETF people are getting the fuck out. They can't take it anymore. So when you ask who's the long-term holders, it's people that are already in. They're not even buying. They bought before the ETF came out. So with your logic, the ETF is here now. They wouldn't have let the price go into the red anyway. Does that make sense? Now, if the argument is, well, the capitulation of the ETF marks the bottom, then you'd have to kind of apply the same logic to the network as a whole, which is what I'm doing. I'm taking the ETF logic and applying it to the whole network as a whole. The ETFs are underwater, but the network isn't. So if you think the ETF is going to control the network, then I have no argument for you. That's never happened before. But there's never been an evidence of that. Like, I can't show you something that's never happened before. But the argument would be, why did the top happen in October if the ETFs were going to hold the price up? That would be my explanation for it. Is there Newple for the stock market? No, unfortunately. They have Newple for other chains, but you have to pay for it, and I'm not paying for it. But it's good that you propose these questions, because I want to listen to my answer and make sure it makes sense. And I think what I said makes sense. If you take the logic of we have ETFs, so they're not going to let the price go down. They already did. The bottom should have been here. And the fact that we came up to, hold on, I'm about to spit some fucking heat here. The fact that we came back to the cost basis of all these ETFs and got rejected is the same exact thing that we're doing right now and every single bear market in history when we come up to the short-term hold or realized price. Every time the short-term holders are about to go back into the green, the price rolls over. And that's why the missing piece of the bear market is the long-term holders. When the long-term holders finally go underwater, it doesn't mean that they sell, but look at what happens when we get back over it. It's a bull market. When we get back over it, it's a bull market. We almost got over it and they said, fuck it, I'm getting out, and they sell. Goes back down. That's the missing piece of the puzzle here. The long-term holders are the only people holding up the market right now. The ETFs are underwater. The short-term holders are underwater. The problem is the long-term holders make up so much of the market that the market as a whole never went underwater. Now, what's interesting with the coins in loss is they're technically counting long-term holders as anyone who bought 155 days ago. So you'd have to find data to show how much money is actually lost, you know? Because if somebody bought in all the way down here, no, I guess that doesn't matter because it's the average price. So you'd have to ask yourself which one is wrong. Is the Nupal wrong? Or is the coins and loss wrong? And that's the question. It's not even that though. It's like everything. The whole Bitcoin network as a whole. I know I keep saying whole twice. The whole Bitcoin network pretty much runs on the realized price. The MVRV for the short-term holders and the long-term holders, the Nupal, the net realized profit and loss. Everything runs on the realized price. So you'd have to ask yourself, is the realized price wrong this time? And if the answer is yes, then you could say the bottom is in. If the realized price is not wrong, then we have significantly lower to go down. All right, I'm here. I went to the bathroom here. What do we got? Remember what they do? They dumped 120. How many billions got wrecked? Vegeta says having ETFs is not going to stop the price going down because now we got inverse ETFs. What more important is Wyckoff analysis? Yeah, I can't tell if you're being serious, bro. My analysis shows they're in reaccumulation after spring and now Wyckoff SOS. So I doubt we drop below 64 before moving higher. Well, at the end of the day, it sounds like everyone has already made up their minds. And the fact that we're 305 days from the top as of next week, you have to live with the outcome. You know? We, in this chat, on this YouTube channel, we got exactly what we asked for. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but we said going into August, we should be bullish, and we are. Now it says it's time to go down. We're at that time literally by the end of the month. If you're bullish, then you have to see the price go higher. Because if it goes lower, we're going much, much lower. And that's kind of it, you know? We're at that point where you just got to make your decision. Do you think the bottom is in or do you not? If you do, and you have evidence to believe that, then so be it, right? Who am I to tell you that your evidence is wrong? I'm nobody. But once we get to August 5th, I think that's the kill box. Once August 5th comes and goes, I go back into my bear hiding until the end of the year. And the fact that we're getting sell signals on the S&P 500 is all I needed to see. It's legitimately what I asked for. I can't believe it. Normally I don't get what I want, but sometimes I do. It's very rare, but it happens. I guess this is one of those times where we're getting sell signals on the QQQ. So could we be here and it's just going to be bullish the whole way up? Maybe. Maybe it's wrong. But that's up to you to decide. That's up to you to decide, gentlemen. I can do no more. I've gave it my all. But if we we got a 3-week dot on SOXL. If we get this correct, we never have to do this shit again because now we can go into the stock market and not gamble on Uniswap anymore. Yeah, I'm never depositing into crypto again. Never. Never, never, never. I am out when Bitcoin breaks next all-time high. Yeah, that's the best time to get out. That is the best time to get out. Yeah, I don't know how I feel that every time S&P tries to pump, it comes back down. This is like the 4th time now. 1, 2, 3, 3. This thing's gotta be getting close to turning bearish, man. Oh, wait, what about the MACD? It's gotta be getting close. I guess not yet. Oh, the 1 week is red. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, if we close the week red, if we get a red MACD print, which is tomorrow, with 1 day left, look at what happens to Bitcoin. Down, 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 down. Yeah, I think we're gonna get it. Even here, you had a little crash. Yeah, I think we're gonna get it. Yeah, even here there was a correction. Yeah, even here there was a correction. Yeah, I think we're gonna get it. When the MACD turns red on SPY, this is the following outcome. It just goes sideways or down. And we're already going sideways. Yeah, I think this is it, guys. I think we're in the closing stages. Especially when you look at the inverse and you look at the VIX. The VIX is telling you the story as well. Yeah, the VIX is about to turn green. I think we're getting close. I do. Yeah, I think we're getting close. Yeah, I think we're getting close, gentlemen. You had one false print in 2023, 2024. Every other print was accurate. I think we're getting close, gentlemen. Six days not green. 5 days, no, 5 days not green either. I'm willing to say that if next week is bearish, it's over. I still think we got a shot at one more push. I'm not clinging to it though. It doesn't have to go up. It would be nice if it did, and it would line up with historical data. And because I like to make decisions on historical data, I'm open to another high, but I'm not going to say it has to happen because that's dangerous. But I look at Doge, and Doge is melting. Yeah, you know what would be nice if ETH pulls back and then we get an even high. That would be nice. I hope the top's not in yet. I still think we got a shot. I think we got one more push. But I've been saying that for a while now. When I say one more push, I mean that like very, very cautiously. Because when we were down here, I told myself there's definitely one more push left. And there was. I can't confidently tell you there's one more push left. I think there could be. There might be. I'm open to both scenarios. This is the first time I'm actually open to us going down. Because we came back to where we were supposed to go. This didn't make sense. This didn't make sense. If we were going to go down, it should have been here. And when we didn't, that was it. Relief rally. This is the first time it makes sense to go down. But I still think we could go up one more time. I think there's one more rally left in the tank. To get the bears nervous. We want to get the bears nervous. Like, holy shit, we're going to the moon. And I don't think we ever felt that. I didn't feel that. You know, when we came up here, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to the moon. When we came up here, it was like, oh my God, we're still bearish. We never felt that bullishness. So I'm open to another high, but if that's all she wrote, so be it. Maybe it is. Bitcoin should be below 20K. No, that's too low. If we keep data consistent, we should bottom around 20 to 30% below the realized price. That's what I'm looking for. That's peak capitulation. This one was 32%. This one was 26%. Right now, our realized price is 53,000. So 20% below that is 41,000. I really think the bottom is here somewhere. Can I look at the monthly RSI? The monthly RSI. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, what is this? Hold on a second. He's cooking right now. Maybe we got to come down to this red moving average, which is all the way down at 45,000. Yeah, I don't even know what this is, but look, the bottom is always below the red moving average. Yeah. Yeah, we're going down, chat. 42,000 on deck. NFA, of course. As Vegeta would say, NFA. Can I look at the monthly RSI? Yes, I can. What do you got for us, Chris? What do you got for us, Mr. Chris? Monthly RSI, what do you got? I see a lower low. I see another lower low. I see another lower low. So, Mr. Christopher, Mr. Moonboy, you're betting that it's different this time with a higher low. And if you think it's different this time, I can't give you data because it doesn't exist. I don't have anything. I was wondering if it was bullish. No, the trend is we're making lower lows. So it should actually go down one more time, which is what I think. I think the next move down is the bottom, and then we start our bull run. And you have to be out of the market up here. Because now we know that this is not the top of the market cycle, but that's the top for us. Get out. If we would have gotten out in April of 2024, we would have been okay. That's the good news. The good news is it is a 4-year cycle, but our top for the degenerates was 3 years ago. 2 years ago, sorry. So our top is going to be in 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking for our top to be around here somewhere. But I think we're ready. We've gone over everything there is to gone over. We've gone over all the momentum. We've gone over all of the on-chain indicators in depth. I've never gone so in depth in my life, dude. I have to get this right. I checked everything. We went over altcoins. We said if the altcoins are bearish, it's bearish. BNB is dead. Doge died today. They put the dog down. Rip Doge. Floki they put down. They put down Floki too. We're waiting for Caspa to break the low. We saw Harry Potter broke the low. Right? Did we see Harry? Yeah, Harry Potter broke the low too. Oh my God, it's still going. Yeah, Harry Potter's done. I still think there's a chance we get one of these, but I'm not gonna cling on to it. I clung on to it for as long as I could, but we're getting very, very close to the Moon Boy zone. Look at this shit. We're getting very close to the Moon Boy zone. We're actually in it right now. It's just we're in it time-wise. We're just not in it price-wise. So I'm open to another rally, and I'm open to the top being in. But we fulfilled our duty of being fake bulls. We came just shy of the short-term realized price. If it doesn't get over and it just goes down, so be it. I still think there's a chance it can, but I'm not going to tell you to wait for it. Especially when we got 7 days left of August and the FOMC meeting is on the 29th. It looks like the RSI never reached the real overbought levels like it does historically. So how can you explain that other than a mid-cycle correction? It could be a mid-cycle correction, man. You're right. You gotta place your bets and live with the outcome, my friend. Best of luck, Mr. Christopher. John Doe for 2 says, making me pay. Weeble bottom prediction. I appreciate the 2. Weeble. Bottom prediction. There is always a chance it already bottomed, but I think by the end of the year it should be back down here. So wherever it is in October, that's where the bottom is. Could it be $3? I think so. I think $3 is on the table. Now, if we don't actually get the stock market correction and Webull breaks $10, then the bottom is already in. So right now, we could still be bearish on Webull. We could still be bearish. But a break over 10 and the bottom is already in. Bursh. I appreciate the 2 from Fake John Doe. You see how back at the top, from the high to the low, you hit the 382, then you went down? That's what we're about to do again. Coming up to the 382 at $10. So once we get through $10, the bottom is already in. So if it's bearish, it should get rejected at $10, which is what I'm looking for. But I'm assuming it's not different this time, and the S&P 500 is going to go down. If the S&P 500 doesn't go down, I have to say it's different this time. And maybe the stocks don't go down. But even in 2015, the stock market didn't go down, and Bitcoin still went down anyway. So Bitcoin has nowhere to go but down, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But our Bollinger Band percentile is telling us that the decision time is on the horizon. We can't sit here. We're not going to stay here forever. You're going to get a move in the next 3 weeks. Right? If you just measure each move, this was November of 2025 to February. Then we went from February to June. I'm going to assume 80 to 120 days later, we should be at our next destination, which is quite literally where the bottom is projected to be. So whatever we're in right now, I think is the last rally. Or we're about to go straight up to 80,000. But if you go to a large enough time frame, you can see that we're about to get something gnarly, because the 5-month BBWP is about to explode. Last time we did this, we were bullish in 2023. The time before that, we did it in 2020. The time before that, we did it in 2016. And I believe the first bull market. So you're either going to go right up to 100,000 or we're going down to hell. There's no in the middle. But I think that's all she wrote. I still believe there's another. I still really do think there's one more rally left. I don't think the top is in yet. My heart says one more rally. Rally, rally, up the alley. Because we're right here. We're right here. We got to get this. This is where the Moon Boys run wild. We don't have that yet. It's right up here at 69,000. So we would come up like this into the FOMC and then go like that. And if we actually get this and you see the price come down like this, you know it's over. If we're in a bull market, this should not happen. Gotta go. Go. Oh, it's already 4 o'clock. Wow. All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. But we've officially discussed everything we could discuss. There's nothing left. So, best of luck to you all. I think there's one more rally left. And that should do it. But as always, I appreciate the support. None of this is financial advice. Stay safe out there. And we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy your day. And I shall see you soon.